All right, hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I'm coming back with another live stream. And give me a second, I got this banana here, and I'm kind of taking it a little crunchy. I thought these were ripe, but maybe not fully ripe. Okay, let me see if I can get this on the screen. Oh, Kraus, hey. What do we got here? It's Derek, first of all. Yeah, okay, you got that in the second comment. See that right there? But it's not spelled like traditionally. It's D-A-R-I-C-K, which is weird, but I like it. You know, and I'm watching this TV show. I don't know if you're watching this or have seen it. Generation V, which is kind of a spin-off from The Boys. And I noticed one of the artists on that TV series in the credits is also Derek. Derek Robinson, I think is his name, but it's spelled exactly the same way as me. Okay, let's read that first comment. Hi, I sent a comment the other day, but I guess you didn't see it. What D&D half-painted figures do you have? I could be interested in them even half-painted. Oh, goodness. Okay. I didn't see that comment. I was actually planning on going through my comments today for the last month just to see if there was any comments that I had missed. So I probably would have seen your comment today. They're all different kinds. There's hundreds. Ogres, I think. Bunch of cavalry. Like, I think I got a mounted wizard. I can't remember. Some skeleton? Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. There's a bunch of individuals, a bunch of solos, and I appreciate you too. I do. Your top? Oh, thanks. At first I thought you were talking about you like my tops. Oh. Well, I am going to be painting the tops of these SS troops today. And I have on the screen the... let's see if I can't... adjust this a little bit so it's not filling my screen. And to all those haters out there that said they didn't have P. camouflage camo covers, or they didn't have P. ball caps, well, there's an example of them right there on the screen. I'm painting some for my daughter. She has been pushing me to do some things for her. Yeah. I get you. She into wargaming? If so, that's pretty cool. That's really cool. Okay, well, I've got a lot of time today, and so I'm going to be doing quite a bit of painting, I think. I don't know if it's all going to be on camera. I don't know if I'm going to spend all day here. Here we go. Yeah, so plus I have them in a box on the shelf, so I can't just go run over there and grab them and pull them out and show you. But since you follow my channel, what I'll do is since you're following my channel, what I'll do is I'll do a video probably tonight or tomorrow, where I do my wargaming, I do my store news updates. Okay, so in my next store news update, I will here. Let me take a note, just so I don't forget you, my man. Okay, I opened it. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. It's in my right in front of my camera. Okay, so copy, paste. The store news update is now going to be like November 5. I know, it's hard to get to my keyboard around my camera. Yeah, let me clean some of this off, because what I like to do is give myself some topics to talk about during my store news update. And one of them can be the D&D figures. Okay, so what that'll do is that, and I'll just close this, that's all I need. So what that'll do is it'll remind me to get those figures out, and specifically for you, but also for every other customer out there. And then I'll show them off as part of my work in progress. Like, these are the figures that I'm getting ready to paint and put up on the channel, on the store. And so that'll give you an opportunity to take a look at those and see if that's something that you're interested in, and then maybe you can make me an offer or something like that. Okay, I think I need to refresh this because the new chats aren't coming in. Okay, give me a second to refresh this. Yeah, this widget has been giving me some grief. It's loading. Yeah, you can see it on the screen. Now, if I open my dock, looks like they all might be there. Okay, so you got half of your year is in Germany. Museums. I have seen P-Camo covers for the helmets, so whatever I told you. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's like first-hand knowledge. That's good. Yeah, and I think it looks better on the figures too, to have the camo covers the same as the jackets. Okay, and then the next one is, she just likes fantasy and D&D. Okay, so that might be why you were interested in those D&D figures that I've got, even half painted. I got you. And really? No, you're not. You really? No, you, okay. I appreciate that, man. You started your channel. And so that means you got me. All right, good deal. All right, so just looking at this P dot, this is from AK. I know there's a lot of different patterns, paint schemes or paint colors from different manufacturers and stuff like that. And I tend to mix paints too. I tend to go Vallejo, AK, Army Painter, even the old Warlord paints. Sometimes I'll use Tamiya, which I need to pull out one of my Tamiyas now that I'm thinking about it. Tamiya, I use P3, I use Model Master. Where's that Tamiya color? Let me get that out of the way. Let me get this out of the way. I think it's this one, and I can't get to it. Okay. Yeah, the bottom row of my bottle paint rack is like impossible to get to because I've got all these giant paint bottles in front of it. Okay, now I might be able to slide it over. I'm specifically looking for Field Gray Tamiya. I ordered a new bottle of it. I think this is it. Field Gray. Yeah, perfect. Okay, now I can put all those other ones back. My old Field Gray bottle, which is behind my brush over here. I've used it so much that I think I've diluted it too much. Like, I'll put a drop of water in there or whatever to stir it to kind of reconstitute it. I think I've done that so many times that it's become super thin. Okay. Okay, I got autofocus on it, just noticed. Okay, so some of these I initially used the Model Master Field Gray, which in the bottle it looks like the right color. Okay, focus. But when you put it on the figure, it dried kind of. I mean, those guys all look good. Most of these guys, they do look good. But I'm gonna touch some highlights maybe with this Tamiya Field Gray. Okay, I can put these pin vise drill bits over here. Put them back where they were, out of the way. Great. Okay, there's a lot of things I wanted to talk about today. I mean, I have a ton, but what I probably should do is I was going to write a script of just bullet points. I think I'm going to do that right now. I call it live stream talking points. Okay. I'm moving my mic out of the way and I'm moving the keyboard so that I can actually get to it. Okay. One thing I want to talk about is Meg bases. Okay. Where there's an issue that I found with Meg. I wanted to talk about tough. I wanted to talk about brown base coats that I'm using. You can see there's like a dark brown base coat on these guys. I want to talk about that a little bit. And there's reasons. Romans. Right, I wanted to talk about my Romans. Talk about my hills. Walls. It's all terrain topics, really. Okay. This is not about the store. This is just about my hobby life in general. Marshals and generals. I wanted to talk a little bit about my marshals and generals. I'm trying to remember. There's probably quite a bit that I'm forgetting, and that's why I wanted to make a list so I didn't forget. Okay. Well, I can put that right. I don't know where I can put it. Not behind stuff. Let's try not to do that. And chat. Yep, wanted to talk about the chat as well. Okay. Now that I have that, it'll help me collect my thoughts and talk clearly. Okay, so first of all, let's just because I'm getting ready to start painting, I have to switch glasses because I can't read and paint with the same glasses. It's because of the distance. I guess if I had bifocals, I could read with the top half of my glasses and then I'd paint with the bottom side of my glasses, but I don't. I've got reading glasses. Okay, so let's talk about the camouflage first. Because that's what I'm getting ready to start painting. And then once I talk about it, like I wanted to, then we'll actually dive into it. Here you go. You can see the camel pattern on the screen. And The colors are actually right here, right? The colors, according it only, and you can see the uniform base right here, right? We got grim brown, chocolate brown, and cork. And that would be the grim brown, chocolate brown, and cork. And I think that this uniform on the left is more cork, right, as the base. But it's not. These dots are actually orange tan. And so this might be cork underneath. That's kind of what I was thinking. But this uniform here looks like it's probably the chocolate brown, right? They don't look the same to me, right? And then this one's got the light spots being this orange tan. Now I've painted P-Dot personally on my own uniforms, my own like Overlord. I mean my what am I saying? Not Overlord. Overlord was a long time ago, and I don't remember what I painted on any SS. I had some 172nd SS that I painted a long time ago, but my battle group SS that I've got in one of these trays behind me, I've painted, and then I've also painted some SS for this customer previously. This is his second wave, and if I remember right, I did a base coat of cork. Okay, that was the base, and if I was painting like a 1/35 scale model, or if I was painting even a 40 millimeter or 54 millimeter model, I think it would be very noticeable which color you used as your base coat and which one you used as your build up and stuff like that. But when it comes to 15 millimeter miniatures, I don't think that's as important. I think getting the proper look and feel is more important to me, because this is brown base, and brown base is and what's the other color? Chocolate? Yeah. So I remember they gave me chocolate and brown base in the packaging, and those browns are just too dark. Now I understand that's what they're supposed to be. It's supposed to be a dark. Okay, let's get cork out of the way. If you were doing a 3-level, you got your base, you got your shadows, and you got your raised areas, the highlight. But that is just too, all of those. Even this one, I think, is just a little bit too dark for the look I'm going for. And cork is pretty good. All right. Now, the part that I'm getting at is the spots, right? The spots are orange tan. And I've noticed this on some other figures that I've done, that when I put orange tan spots on top of a cork base, they're basically exactly the same color. Okay, I must have. There we go. Yeah. So see, even on the screen here, you've got the brown base and the orange dots are almost exactly the same color. Well, no, I'm sorry. That that brown base is supposed to be cork, right? And not actual brown base. Okay, so brown base cork and then light brown spots, orange tan, they blend. So when you put the dot on top of the brown, you can't see it. It's like it disappears. So if I used a brown, like, see, chocolate brown, it says it's supposed to be the spots. Like there. And you see the brown spots up there. Like very few brown spots, but they do exist. And then when you go to the green, you've got dark green spots. Now, spots and dots are different, right? A spot is like this big chunk of green, right? That's a spot. But a dot is these little bitty d's. So green dots, light green, got that, no problem. Okay, light green, all over it. Those two are the ones that I'm concerned about. I don't think I want to use, I mean, I can use the orange tan on top of the green and brown spots. You'll be able to see them. But if I was to put these orange tan on top of the cork, you just would never, you just can't see it. It's just not light enough. This isn't light enough, this orange tan. I think the cork is actually a better spot color. Or dot color, I should say. Oh man, I'm struggling. And you notice both of these have a kind of a... Now this orange tan, I might jump to a Vallejo color and see if I can't find like a camo ochre or something. You know, I even considered like, but that's more of a desert color. I needed to have like an orange to it. Okay, where's my orange ochre? Unless I put it into a different area. In my spinny area. Okay. Okay, here's some German camo orange ochre. I thought I had more of that, like a new bottle of that. German camo orange ochre. Okay. Because this is an old bottle. This is a new bottle. And I think the orange ochre might be a better base coat. And then use the orange tan on top of it. I think that would be a better combo. And that looks like it would match the uniform on the screen. Right there. But I don't know. Yeah, because I don't think the orange ochre is orange enough, where these guys definitely have an orange look to them. The cork just doesn't seem dark enough. It just doesn't seem dark. And I don't want to darken it with like mixing paint. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Okay, what do we got here? This is a highlight, which is a little bit darker than that. That's much lighter. I don't want light. I want it to be dark so that when I put the tan on, it'll be contrasted. You know what? As an alternative, I might just be able to do the dark cork, right? The cork, and then what I've been thinking is using light earth as my dots. But I don't think I'm going to do it. I think I'm just going to go same way I did it the first time. Just to, I'm just going to follow the prescribed painting. I'm going to do cork first. Okay, there we go. I argued myself into doing it. Okay, before I do that though, I'm going to touch a couple of these guys with the field gray. Just to see if there is any kind of highlight. Because I can always wash these guys, which would also darken it down, and then go with the dots on top of the wash, and that would really brighten it up. Well, looking at that shirt right there on the screen, it does look like the dots kind of blend with the jacket, so maybe that's the way it's supposed to go. And I apologize if when I paint it's not on the screen, because maybe, okay, it should be on the screen no matter where I put it. That's good. Okay, this is good. I'm going to paint one beside the other. That way I can compare if it actually made a difference. And if you remember, well, if you watched any of my other streams, I said I wasn't going to paint the hands until after I paint the whatever's in their hands. Okay, these guys should be pretty easy to see. So what I'll do is I'll paint every other one. So the odd models will be the odd models out. And just looking at the wet paint, it looks like it's exactly the color I want, right? I've always found that the Tamiya field gray is always, or it had been, my favorite field gray. And that's why, like I said, I used it so much and I've added so much water to it. Okay, so that'll be my test, starting with this guy and this guy. Put little marks on the base. So I know which ones that I've done. Because when it dries, it might dry exactly the same. They might have the exact same tint. And if they do, then I know I won't need to go back over it with this because it'll be just a waste. Now, I've always thought about maybe just going back over that with a as a highlight. All right, so we're just going to do some cork. I don't really have any room anymore over here because I use these giant popsicle sticks. I'm not doing that anymore. I did it and I was like, oh, giant popsicle sticks. I can get more figures on a giant popsicle stick. Well, what it does is it makes it so that I can't move my sticks around on the table, because what I like to do is, as I finish them, move them to the left. Okay, so we're going to go with cork. I don't want that to bust open. So I grab my paper clip that I've made to poke holes in bottles. Sometimes to stick it down inside and stir it up a little bit. But now that I've poked the hole, I'm going to shake it up again. All right, so that was me trying to figure out which colors I was going to use. I got that out of the way. Now the next topic is the Meg. I'm going to Meg bases. Yep. First things first, delete. Okay, Meg bases. I discovered something last night. I made some Roman bolt throwers. And from memory, I was thinking, okay, those need to go on a 40 by 40 base, right? one bolt thrower on a 40 by 40 base with the crew. I needed at least 3 of them, but the Forged in Battle package had 4 of them in there, so I said, okay, I'll just do all 4, because I might be doing Maximus at some point. I got to make sure I've got it. And if I have 2 armies and they both have bolt throwers, like in a Civil War, they are allowed to have 2. Okay, so we're just going to do helmet covers and ball caps right now. And then we'll come back and do jackets. And I apologize that if I'm not talking while I'm painting, partially because I only have a 1-track mind and it's hard for me to paint and talk at the same time. I'm doing it right now, but just know that I'm concentrating. Okay, so the bases, right? I thought it was 40 millimeter by 40 millimeter, but I didn't want to mess up by accident and mount them on a 40 by 40, and then it's supposed to be something else. So I grabbed my rule book, which I don't know if you know this, but I have 2 different Meg rule books. I've got the Compendium edition. That's what I got first, which came out of the box set, which is no longer being offered. Right? So I don't know. I really like that box set. It came with a hardback and everything. I think it was. Yeah, I mean, I wish they still offered that. The rules aren't any different. Same rules. It's just they decided to go with the paperbacks. Okay, so and they split the paperback up into 2 different rules. You got the Meg the Pacto rules, which is basically like a DBA game. I mean, it's super small. Or is that DBM? I don't know. I don't play those games. But basically, you get 2 bases representing a unit. Super small. Super small table, like a 3 by 3 tournament style. I always thought that was DBA, and but either way, so I've got that book, which has the I don't have the Pacto book. I have the Magna Maximus book, and I have the Compendium. Now the Compendium has every rule in it, right? So I pulled out and I'm doing my armies as Magna, which is the mid army. I'm not doing well, that's not really true. Some of my armies, I maximize them and they're ready to go as a Maximus army. And I'm only doing that as a emergency, kind of like if I need them, I'll have them kind of thing. But that's not what I plan to play. What I plan to play is Magna, which is the mid-range. So if Pacto was 2 and Magna is 4. Maximus would be like 6. And that's the breakdown pretty much of all the army lists. Okay, back to basing these ballistas. So I said 40 millimeters. That's what I think it is. So let's take a look. Okay, these Band-Aids have got hair all over them, hanging off, and it's getting caught on stuff. I probably could just peel that Band-Aid. I'm probably healed underneath, but I'm just giving it an extra day. So I pulled out the Magna book because it was on top. It's a soft paperback. And I went through every single page of that book, and nowhere in that book does it talk about basing sizes. Well, I take that back. Camps, it talks about how big a camp is. I think it talks about how big a battle wagon is as well. But it doesn't talk about your infantry. It doesn't talk about cavalry or elephants or anything. It's just not in there. And so then I said, okay, because I know the compendium has like a chart which shows all the basing sizes. So I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe it's just not in a chart. Maybe it's in the text, somewhere where it talks about basing sizes. And I must have spent 15 minutes flipping through this book, looking for anywhere in the text that would talk or even hint at basing sizes. Nope, not in the book. I think that's a huge oversight. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll just pull out my compendium because I know it's in there. The compendium is the book that I used when I did the Meg boot camp, right? Someone in the community told me that the Magna book is better because all the errors and all that has been, typos and stuff like that have all been corrected. And that's why ultimately I did get the Magna book. And it is paperback, and it's lightweight, and it does focus specifically on the scale that I'm playing, Magna and Maximus, and not Pacto, because I'm not a Pacto player. I don't plan to play a Pacto game. I understand why Pacto is there. It's easy to carry. The games play fast because you can't take a lot of casualties. But I feel that Pacto, even though the rules and everything are pretty much the same, I don't think the game or the battle, let's rephrase that, I don't think the battle would play out the same because I think mistakes are unforgivable in Pacto. Because let's say I got a Roman legion and I attack something I probably shouldn't attack, and then I lose, or I should say, like one of my bases gets destroyed, or even 2 bases get destroyed, my Romans are still okay. I mean, they're in a bad way, but they're still on the table and they're still fighting. And Uh, and now I can reevaluate, like, oops, I made a bad mistake. I now need to either throw in some support elements, or I need to withdraw them, or basically I now have decisions to make. Where in Pacto, if you attack with your Roman legion into that same situation and you lose 2 bases, well, now that unit's destroyed. No mistake, just a huge error that you can't come back from. And so I think that the game would play a little bit differently. Either you would go in cautiously, or you would not attack, or you would make sure that you've got your supports lined up, or whatever. But it doesn't give you or any kind of wiggle room to make a mistake. And I'm not saying that you should have wiggle room. I'm not condoning the wiggle room. I'm just saying there is wiggle room on in the larger battles, because now your units can take an extra hit or two that you can't take in Pacto. And so that would change the way you maneuver your units. It's just human nature. And that's why I don't want to play Pacto. Because I evaluated in my own headcanon, basically I said, what kind of a game, or battle do I want to play with my friends? First of all, we're probably going to play scenarios or pre-designed missions that I'm going to set up the armies and the battlefield or something. But there might be games where we roll off on the terrain or something. But do I want to sit down and play a game with these guys in Pacto and then have it, go super fast like a tournament? No. Now, if I had like 10 friends over, I mean, literally, if I had like 8, 10 friends come over and we all wanted to play, I would do my best to break the armies down so that everybody could play. But if I couldn't, then we would try to speed the games up, and then maybe we would play Pacto. Just so that everybody would get a chance. Because then every hour and a half, we would have a new game. Well, you can basically have 8. You can have 8 players in a game, because even if it's just one army versus one army, you can have the overall commander and 3 subgenerals in every army. So technically, you could do that. It's just that everybody would be commanding like a small unit or something, a small division. But that doesn't mean I could pull out my Maximus armies at that point, right? And we could split it up so everybody gets a chance to play like a portion of the game, and their units would be so big that they would feel like they've got something to command. But the reason why I brought this up was the Magna Maximus softback does not have basing sizes, which I understand you don't have to play with their basing sizes, but you need some kind of recommendation, or when they talk about base widths, you don't know how big that is because they don't mention it. They don't tell you that a base width is this much. They either leave it open for interpretation, like you just use whatever figures you've got and use their base widths, which I'm okay with that, but it doesn't say that in the rules. It's just ignored. Well, you can see we're making progress on the helmets. I'm doing the helmets first because I want to see when it dries if it's as dark as I'm hoping. And the Magna Maximus paperback has pretty much the same exact rules, which it should, as the compendium, but it's arranged differently, and it's the chapters, even if they were rearranged, the chapters are actually contain different things. It's like someone took the rules and did a mix up. So now the compendium and the Magna Pacta or Magna Maximus rulebook are so different that you can't say, oh, check out chapter 3, because chapter 3 might be movement in one book and it might be shooting in another book. That's disappointing. Now, I have another topic that I want to talk about, but I don't want to talk about it while I've got these figures in my hand, while I'm painting. Let's take a look at my list of topics, if there was one that I can talk about. Yeah, okay, let's talk about my hills and my walls. Okay, let's delete that. Okay. As you know, if you're following my channel, okay, hang on. We got some chats. Let me look at chat. Okay. Okay, we got Go For It Painting saying hello, but I'm noticing that my chat doc. What is this? I'm taking that off. Are you sure you want to remove this? Yes. Well, darn, I can't get to Go For It Painting. I know this is a distraction, but I want it to be working. So there it is. Go For It says hello. Well, hello, Go For It. Thanks for coming in on the channel and listening to me ramble and rant. I'm painting P-Dot on some SS for a commission. And right now I'm just painting the cork base from AK. I had a big discussion of what colors I should use because I wasn't sure if the AK paint concept was something that I was going to like on a 15mm figure. I have done it in the past and it's worked. And so I basically succumbed and said, okay, I'm going to do it again. Plus, it is the paint scheme that I painted for my customer previously, and he did say paint them like I did the other ones. So technically, I'm kind of obligated to do it the way I did it before. But, okay, so hills and walls. I plan to do some walls in the next week or two. Stone walls, not brick, or they're gonna be stone walls, and I have some cork gravel coming in. It's like railroad gravel that would go under a track, right? But the material is cork, but they look like rocks. And I've already built a few walls out of cork gravel 20 years ago. I mean, I'm exaggerating. I don't remember exactly how long ago it was. Yeah, okay. It was probably 15 years ago, maybe. Because I made them for my Napoleon's Battles game. I was making little brick wall or stone walls for a battlefield or whatever. I got a very small popsicle stick. Or maybe it was balsa wood. I think it was even balsa wood. And then I just put this cork on it using Elmer's or white glue or whatever and stacked them up. And that worked out really well. And then recently I made some walls using aquarium stones. Those look really good as well. But I think I liked my cork better. But I don't have that cork anymore, and I only have like 4 of those walls. And they're super small, short that is, like 2 to 3 inches long. And I was hoping to maybe make some a little bit bigger. Maybe 80 millimeters. Maybe some 60 millimeters, varying lengths. I considered doing corner pieces, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make these straight pieces, and if I want a corner, I'll just push them up against each other. You know what I mean? And the sticks that I put them on, I'm going to bevel the edges. So that you can put them up against each other. That's the plan. And I thought about putting some of these walls on a terrain board, like make a field and put a stone wall around it. And then call that a bordered field. I'm not sure, but I am going to be making some stone walls. I can make them for my battle group game as well, so I want to make sure they're usable in both. Well, let me rephrase that. I want to make sure they're usable in my Meg games. I want to make sure they're usable in my Marshals and Generals game that I'm writing. Basically, just Napoleonics. And then I want to make sure they're usable in my World War II games. And so I'm going to basically make them, just walls. A wall can be anywhere, really. But it's not a brick wall, it's a stone wall. And stone walls can be pretty much used anywhere. My American War of Independence. Yeah. Now you might notice that not every one of those helmet covers, or I should say not every one of those helmets, has a helmet cover. Some of them actually just are metal. But if it has a helmet cover, I'm making it P dot. So I'm starting with cork. And I'll do the cork I'll put cork on the tunics as well. I just like to focus on one aspect at a time. It makes me feel like I'm making progress. And part of that wall thing was, I was talking about my hills and mountains actually. Wait, there's a dude right here that I did not paint his face. Okay. There's always little guys like that. There's always somebody that I miss that I got to go back in and fix. I should probably fix that before I do jackets. Yeah, so those hills, I plan to reflock them. And I'm basically waiting for this flock that I ordered to come in. Not because I plan to use it, which I might use it, but I'm going to compare it with some flock that I already have and then make a decision. So I don't want to do it until I get the new flock in so I can compare before I do. Now, what's funny is that order that's supposed to be coming in, I checked it last night around, I don't know, around 8 o'clock, something like that. And the tracking said tomorrow, the 5th. So, did they consider tomorrow to be today, which is Saturday? Or did they consider tomorrow to be Sunday? Even though I was checking it on Friday. I'm not sure, and it was UPS. So I'm not sure how. Maybe because it was. This is kind of what I'm thinking in my brain. Because it was after business hours, it automatically advanced their internal clock to Saturday, and then tomorrow would be Sunday, the 5th. I think they need to relook their tracking system. Sounds messed up. But whether I get it in Saturday or Sunday, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be working on these Germans until I get them done. Then I might consider looking at the hills. Well, I'm going to look at the flock when it comes in. I'll make a comparison. Obviously, the minute it comes in, I'll be looking at it. But I won't actually be applying it. Okay. Now I want to talk about my brown primer, and we're going to talk about that once I do these 4 sticks. Because technically, the brown that I'm using on these sticks is called earth camouflage or camo earth or something like that. And it's like a really dark brown, you know, like a burnt umber or something like that. And that's just a little darker than I was hoping for. In the past, I used some like Vallejo, like Monster Brown. I tried that, and that's too red, so that's not good enough. And then I tried a leather brown because they make a leather brown spray, and that just didn't give me the good feels either. It was just too, I think it was too dark as well. And Vallejo is not a cheap spray paint. Now I've tried black, which works really well. I've tried gray, which works really well, and I've tried white, which works really well. But they all have different applications. I've pretty much stopped using black primers and gone with the brown. Especially on any World War II models. But this dark brown that I'm using is pretty much the same as black. It's too dark, if that makes sense. And remember, if you're chatting, which I know you're not, but if you were, the glasses I wear to paint with are not the glasses I use to read my computer screen. So when the chats pop up, I probably can't read it. So I would have to stop and change my glasses. And I have a tendency not to look at the chat. Not until like what I did just then, like if there's a break in the painting or something. Like when I put this stick down, I would glance up at the chat just to see if something was up there. Yeah, this set is so large. I don't like painting this many miniatures at one go. But I also want a commission's miniatures to have the same look. And I have a tendency to try to improve whatever I'm doing from time to time. And I might experiment with other colors, and then I might discover, wow, this works better than what I did previously. And then when I work on another set of figures, like if another customer asks for P dot, he might not get the exact same pattern that this guy's going to get. And so if I broke his order into halves, there might be some inconsistencies between the two halves, which is fine. I personally prefer that in my own miniatures, but I don't want that for my customer. So I try to do all of it all at once. So he gets a consistent paint scheme across all the figures. And having said that, when I finish these, I'm going to have to split this into 2 lots for him to pay for, because he's already mentioned that he wants them at a certain dollar value per lot. I guess that way it doesn't impact him heavily, all at once, which is fine. Yeah, and he's got pretty much 2 more lots after this, which is his British. Okay, the cork is not done because I still got to do their jackets, right? But since I'm waiting, I'm going to talk about the brown. I'm going to continue on with this brown conversation. Okay. So you can see how dark, just this board, right? This is which is very funny. This board right here is a nameplate. I ordered a package of nameplates. It's like 3 millimeters thick. It's a plywood. It's got rounded edges. And I ordered these for bases for like wagons or something like that, right? So like if I was doing like a Napoleonic caisson or something, or a limber or something like that, that's what I ordered these for. But these are nameplates, and I got like a whole stack of these. It came with like 100 in the package. Okay, maybe not. Maybe like 50 or 20, or I don't remember how many. But I've got a lot of them, let's just say. And I had an epiphany that when I'm priming bigger items like anti-tank guns or vehicles or whatever, not priming them, but once I start painting them, I could stick them on these boards, and then I could easily handle multiples, like multiple tanks or multiple anti-tank guns, because it's hard to paint an anti-tank gun holding onto the barrel or holding onto the wheels or whatever. So I just do the same thing that I did with these guys, stuck it on there. But my point is, you can see how dark that brown is. And that brown is this camouflage, right? It's camo earth brown. right? And that's dark. That's super dark. But I wanted a brown more consistent to that. This is the brown that I want. I want this. Flesh will go on this. Well, flesh goes on that, no problem. But any of my lighter colors, like yellows and reds, will definitely go on this brown way better than this brown. This brown was kind of, it's great for like World War II and stuff like that, but I wish I had primed all my Romans in this brown. These are my Numidian cavalry, which, again, I'm not going to start on them until my commission is over with. And that brown is this brown. It's brown. Nothing special, just brown. But it's not, it's a flat enamel, protective, It's pretty much exactly the same as that, just a slightly lighter tint. And they cost pretty much exactly the same. I think this is like $6 and I think this is $5.99 or something like that. It's there's no difference. So I've already got like 5 more of these I'm going to hold on to. And this is the only one of these that I got. I ordered it specifically to see how it was going to look on the figures, because I went through a bunch of browns. I said I went through my monster brown, I went through leather brown, I even went with some nutmeg, I did some saddle brown. I did a whole bunch of browns, and I didn't like any of them. I do like this color. I do like the dark brown. And of course I like the Rust-Oleum better than the Krylon. I also have Krylon camouflage, and it's pretty much the same color, but it has kind of a powdery feel to it. So I wasn't sure. Maybe I didn't shake that bottle up or can up enough, or maybe I was spraying in cold weather, or I don't think so. I think it was warm weather. I sprayed these guys in fairly cold weather, so, these guys were sprayed yesterday. But I finally went with just straight brown, original, generic brown, and it's the color. So I'm going to have to get some more of those. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, let me pull my notes up. Brown. Okay, we talked about it. And we're going to be talking about this. So let's go ahead and delete all those. Okay, you know that I ordered some tufts recently. And I got them in yesterday, the day before yesterday or whatever. And the reason why I ordered them was I saw that they said they were 1/2 inch diameter, those. And I got kind of excited about that, because all the tufts that I have now are, like, I've got mostly Army Painter tufts, and they don't really have the right color that I'm looking for. The woodland one I think is the best one, but I have like meadow and deadlands and scrub and highland and lowland and winter tufts. I've got a bunch of different tufts, and they all have a different color, which is good, because that way I can mix and match, put different tufts from different colors on my bases, like I did with my camps. But then I ordered these. I really like these. Just look by looks. Right? This is like the perfect tuft. And this one is like almost perfect. Right? And I the size of them make them look like a bush. Not just a like if you put this on a 25 millimeter model, it'll look good, right? I could put it on a base. I could put it on like an anti-tank gun base or something. Yeah, if I put this on there, you can imagine how big that tuft is. It says 56 pieces gaming terrain. Okay. Is it 56? What's 7 times 8? This is the first time I'm opening them. What I'm curious, and I don't know this one way or another, is if it's self-adhesive. It looks like it's probably not. That's one advantage of the Army Painter tufts. They're self-adhesive. But I can very easily just put a drop of Elmer's on the base and stick this to it. Look at all that. A lot of flock. Okay. No, it is definitely not self-adhesive. Okay, that just means I'll have to glue them on. Which is still okay in my book. Because I think that right there, I think that is like an excellent color for gaming models. This one's not bad either. I don't remember how much these tufts were, but they weren't expensive. I think it was $7. Maybe $7? I don't know, maybe not even $7. Maybe $3 or something. It was super cheap. I saw them and I said, oh, I can't pass this up. Just to see what it's like. Okay. So I'm going to use my P3 Midland Flesh on that one guy. That way I don't have to get my Vallejo out and mix up a drop of paint for a guy that I've only missed his face. Okay, painting glasses. Yeah, we'll use the same brush. All right, where are you at? Oh, you're right there. Okay, this time when I paint the flesh, I have to be careful not to get it on the helmet. When I paint the flesh originally, I'd like painted it and I didn't care if I got it on the helmet, knowing I was about to paint the helmet. Okay. And when I painted all the helmets, that's the only one that I think I missed. Okay, now before I start painting the jackets, because I'm going to be painting more cork on the jackets, let's go to another topic. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, I'm scrolling all the way down until I get like a month away. We're gonna look at our chats. Yeah, there we go. Let's start at the bottom. What I like to do is like every month or so, I like to go through my chats just to see what I've missed on the videos, because sometimes I'll overlook a chat. Let's start right here. Wanted to give you a shout out. Love your videos. Sorry it took me a while. I play Hail Caesar. I went through your process myself. Great job. 15mm players. You can see my own channel, which I have. I've I guess it's Kraus. I have watched your channel, and I also love Hail Caesar. I think Hail Caesar is an awesome game system. It's just let me try this. There we go. It's a great game system. It's just a different scale, right? I don't mind playing with small units, and to me, that's what Hail Caesar feels like. It feels like you're moving around small units, and I want to play with bigger units. Not bigger as in 28mm or 54mm. That's not what I'm talking about. And 24 figures versus like 36 figures. I'm not talking about that either. I'm talking about representation, like it represents a bigger element. You understand what I'm talking about. Sorry that I had COVID. Yeah, I appreciate that. I have recovered. Glad you recovered. Okay, so I'm going to give this a thumbs up. I'm going to give this a thumbs up. I agree they are small, not usable for my old glory, but they are plastic. Okay, I think what you were talking about in that case was the Wargames, the Warlord. The Warlord epic scale. It's closer to 13.5, I think. And I even ordered some minifigs thinking that I was going to compare them to the Warlord. And even the minifigs are really close because minifigs tend to be small, but they are still too much bigger than the plastics. Now, I just wish, and that whole conversation, that whole conversation about the plastics started when I said I wish there was a company out there that made hard plastic Napoleonics that in 15 millimeter. And I said if I had the money, I would form a company that made 15 millimeter Napoleonics, and I would design a set of rules like Flames of War that would make it easy for someone to pick up a box complete with bases, right? Because and then the bases would have holes in the bases so that you could take your figures and place them in the holes, a lot exactly like Flames of War, in ranks or something, and then they could put their armies together with their standard bearers and everything. Basically include everything you need in the box except for maybe glue and paint. Now, the next statement was, I got Meg. Oh, you did. And you've been playing through the boot camp. Oh, that's excellent. I'm going to give you a thumbs up for that one. Yeah, I really like Meg. I think Meg is like WRG, you know, LADP or whatever, or LADG, the Laguerre something, but it's or DBA or DBM. Those games they're not hard, and Field of Glory, they're not hard. They're just written in a way that made it hard for me, and I might just be stupid, but it made it hard for me to comprehend what they were trying to get at. But when I picked up Meg, I used to play Armati too. Armati was too simple, right? It was the other end of the spectrum. But Meg is a good median in the middle, that it's got a lot of nuance, it's complicated, but it's easy to understand. I don't know. I love Meg. Okay, this was a way better session with a lot less long pauses. Okay, he's talking about my Harn game, episode 2. That was a long time ago. Yeah, so Petraxis, if you're watching this, which you're probably not, thanks for the comment. I'm just going to say thumbs up. Okay. Have a great build. Oh, this guy? I did. It was pretty good. Go for it. You might even be here still. I did build those. And at the end of the video, I think I showed the... Oh, wait a second. I didn't build those. Wait. Did I build those? I don't think I built those. I think they're still... I think they're for sale. Okay, we're producing Lieutenant correctly for a British squadron. You're pronouncing Lieutenant incorrectly for a British squadron. You're pronouncing Lieutenant incorrectly for a British squadron. So, hey Johnny G, if you're watching this, get a life. All right, moving on. I just got this Harnmaster, looking forward to diving in. Clark, I like Harnmaster. Harnmaster is, it's not perfect. First of all, let's just start off by saying that there's a lot of problems with Harnmaster, but it's nothing that can't be overcome, right? Just a little bit of house ruling, and you can resolve it. Harnmaster is designed to be more gritty, I think. It's designed to be more unforgiving to a player. Like, you get into a fight with an orc and it scratches your elbow, and then the next thing you know, it's infected and you have to get your arm cut off. That's Harnmaster. That's not the way I play it, because I don't want my players... I don't want to punish my players. I want it to be a game. I want it to be enjoyable. I want there to be adventure. But I don't want there to be so much, because if you punish your players too much, then they're going to stop adventuring, right? They're just going to hide in their castle and send out their minions. And I didn't want that. So I changed the medical rules. The magic and the clerical rules, they all work perfectly fine. I don't have any problems with those. And then the combat works perfect. The only thing that me and my players, or my players and I, are discussing is reworking the encumbrance rules, because they're too, again, unforgiving. Okay, so Bear, you say, how does this material hold up? Okay, what material? Flexible roads. Okay, which one are we talking about? Okay, those flexible roads were the magnetic material. Okay, I probably... Okay, Bear. The backside... Okay, one side is magnetic. Well, I guess technically both sides are magnetic. But one side is smooth, and then the other side has a peel-off adhesive layer. So what I did was I peeled off the adhesive, or I peeled off the protective backing, leaving the adhesive, and then putting the latex rubber on the adhesive. But if you wanted to like wash off or clean off the adhesive and then score it with some kind of sandpaper, I think that's going too far, right? Just leave the adhesive. Just put your latex directly on the adhesive. The problem that I'm having with these roads, and this is something that could be fixed. I figure it could be. I figured a way that I can fix it. They curl. Over time, I've noticed that a long strip, if you make it too thin, like I did, like 2 inches, the sides curl up. Not the ends, but the sides have just this little bitty curl. So when you lay them on the table, you get kind of a road. But if you store them, like what I'm doing is I'm stacking them on top of each other, and that's not a good thing. I've learned that what I need to do is put something in between each layer to allow the fold to lay flat and stay flat in storage, and then when I pull it out and put it on the table, they'll be flat. But when I stack them up, they have a tendency, the magnets have a tendency to pull against each other, and it curls them. So then when you take them out of the storage and you put them on the table, now you've got all these curved roads. So by putting something flat, piece of cardboard, piece of metal would be awesome, because they would stick right to it. Or I'm thinking maybe a piece of cardboard covered in aluminum foil. Will a magnet stick to an aluminum foil? I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Do I have a magnet laying around here? I do. Wait, hold on. I've got a whole stack of magnets. Not those. That's, oh, no. Yeah, those. Okay. It'll definitely stick to a paper clip. Yeah, I don't think aluminum foil is magnetic. Well, dang. That blows that. But a piece of cardboard or just some maybe styrene, sheet styrene, or something that is flat, put that in between your layers of your rivers and your roads, and it'll keep them flat. It'll press on them and it'll keep them flat in your packaging, in your storage, so that when you pull them out, they won't. Because they won't just sit on your game table and then just go boop and curl up. That actually happens over time, because I took all my roads and I stacked them all on top of each other, and that was a bad move. Okay. Will they crack? They're made out of, I made them out of a sheet of refrigerator magnet material. What you're supposed to do is peel the backing and stick a photograph on there and then put it on your refrigerator or whatever. And but it's easy to cut. It bends. It's flexible, and I haven't had any of them tear on me. So you're asking if they would tear, but if you depending on how deep you scored them, it might crack. But what I use is like a plastic brush, and I just make little scratches on rubber. But I didn't need to do that on these because of the self-adhesive on the backing. Okay, maybe that comment was a little bit too long. Okay, watch your fingers on the jigsaw mystery. We've only just got you. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Right. I mean, I have Band-Aids currently, but most of my fingers have healed up. I still got a little bit of tenderness on a couple of these fingers. And most of it's healed up. Speaking of the jigsaw, I was thinking about cutting some more boards, but cutting them more round, because all the boards that I have, and I kind of got disappointed with myself once I started building them, I got them all mostly in a square shape, maybe with some rounded edges, but I think I need to go with some really hardcore circles. Or what's like kidney shaped, some pea shapes or some random shapes, instead of just squared rounded edges. Specifically for my hills, the woods, maybe them too. Okay, the sound of dishes being banged in the background is pretty annoying. Okay, that 3 weeks ago we had banging dishes. Okay, I thought we just had that this Thursday or Wednesday. And user it just says T. Okay, that must have been a typo. From Harndeck's Night. Okay, okay. I haven't even read this comment, but I can see that it's going to be a correction. Right? Oh my gosh. How do I say this politely? I'm going to try to say this politely. My fantasy world is not written by the game designers. So something that is in a rule book or a lore book I don't care. I play my world the way I want my world to be. Okay, now I might have misunderstood this comment because I haven't read it yet. Let's get in there and read it. The lowest rank of the nobility, knighthood, is an honor conferred on a person for his or her life only and is not heritable. Knights are usually men, but this is not a requirement. Harn has some female knights, but not many. The training for knighthood, apprentice knights are called squires. Really? Okay. Begins at around age 12. Okay. When the child of a knight is invited to foster at the household of another. Oh, wow, he really is. Squires learn the knightly virtues, skill of arms, heraldry, horsemanship. If all goes well, the squire can expect to be knighted around age 21, although anyone may theoretically be knighted. Most who achieve the rank are the son or daughter of a noble family and thus born to the station. A person may be knighted for exemplary military service by the crown, but working ones may win their squirehood. Almost the only way to gain the necessary skills in horsemanship, because it is customary to provide a new knight as a horse and full gear. The considerable expenses tend to deter most who would legally grant the rank from doing so. Most knighthoods are granted by barons, earls, and other wealthy fiefholders. The quality of training received by a squire will vary according to the wealth and household where he receives his training. The number of knights far exceeds the number that can be granted fiefs. Some will inherit or marry into land, but most will spend their careers as knightly bachelors. Okay. Okay, user it, one of three, worm 5H. Okay. What's your point? There is no point. There is just a copy and paste from a book. What is your comment? Are you saying, hey, I've got the Harndex, and this is what it says to be a knight? Okay. Sorry, but I don't get your point. Okay, Luke. Okay, I'm just going to put here, I'm going to actually give him a reply. And reply. Okay. Any chance I can get in on your Harn campaign? The answer is yes. Go to Roll20. Okay, what happened to this episode exactly? Did you lose the feed? Was it recorded? What, is it gone? Oh, this is the one that only has 6 minutes. Okay, I got you. Now I gotta scroll back down. next video. There we go. Because I know we played, I think. Okay. The squares with the numbers on them denote the various regiments within a division or brigade. The white 51. Okay, what are we talking about? Flames of War, UK Armored Battle Group. Okay. Where the 7th Armored would be 1st Royal Tank Regiment or the 2nd Battalion Grenadier Guards. Okay, I know this. Hedgehog, thanks for the comment, but I already knew that. Okay, I fell asleep about 4 minutes in. Even 4 minutes was too much. I gave up. Boring. I prefer Men at War. Okay. Cool. I appreciate your comments. This is not like a... The troop is not a... for the meek. It's not for people that want a Call of Duty style game or a fantasy game. It's actually very well done, I think. Okay, Foundry has much better models for Harn. Oh, Foundry has a much better module for Harn. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I have a bunch of modules, and I picked and chose which ones that I wanted. So that's what I did. And plus, I wrote my own campaign. The first part of that campaign is pre-generated stuff, but now we're past all that. Okay, thank you for this video. I was just getting into this hobby and was looking for a good primer that wasn't Citadel. Oh yeah, that's an old video that I took some black primers and I primed just to see what they would look like. Glad it was helpful. Perfect. That was only 2 weeks ago. Okay, we're up to 2 weeks. Hello, I should have... okay, from Petrakis. Hello, I would have liked to catch you live and ask you what's going on with the Harn campaign. Has it stopped? We are back. And it did stop because of my COVID. Does the game have an option to save progress during battle? Yes. Auto saves each turn. I'm having to look past my mic to the camera, Okay. This game would make an awesome Warhammer 40k mod. Yeah, maybe not. I mean, sure. Okay, I think this video could have been much improved in having the sprues lying on a dark background. As it is, the focus really isn't there at all. Yep, maybe so. Well, Warlord Games, Colonial Men-at-Arms box review. Okay, I'll give you that. Thank you for that reply. The game is not playable from one point, and after it's not worth the buying yet. I agree. I agree with that. Okay. But it's still fun to play. Okay, do the squat. Wait. Do the squats. Do the squats. And I'm not talking about 40K. Halfling militia. Okay. Okay, swamp is... Okay, I must have replied to this. Swamp is best. Okay, Arnie says he likes the swamp. The swamp looks really good. And that was another thing. I thought about putting tufts on the swamp piece. Be some like reeds or grasses. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Glad you guys are back. I've missed the game. Thank you. And Mr. Gunner... Battle Group is by far my favorite World War II rule set. It checks all the boxes. Absolutely, Gunner. I agree. Because if you want to play Battle Group as a skirmish level game like Bolt Action, you can. If you want to take some 28mm models, you want to play, you take your Bolt Action models and you want to play Battle Group, you absolutely can, because Battle Group is a man-to-man game. But if you want to play with a company on the table or even a battalion on the table, you can, because it's streamlined enough. It like he said, it checks all the boxes. Now, it's not like a Command Decision or Spearhead style game. It's not for the grand tactical, like divisions or regiments. It's not made for that. So you would need another rule set for that, like Spearhead. Okay, Smiling Dawn. Are the round holes at the end of the QD sling attachment? Okay, that. Are the round holes at the ends for QD sling attachments? I don't know if okay. Round holes at the end. What are we looking at? The quad rail for M4. Huh. My quad rails. I'm trying to remember my quad rail. I think I still have them on my M4. I don't think I want to open this video. My M4 still has the quad rails with pads. I don't remember any round holes. I'm just going to say, seems right. It's been a while since I've messed with that. Okay. Okay. Meg Bootcamp. Okay. Thanks for the review. Can't have enough of Meg. Think you will find there are actually over 600 armies and variations. Yeah, you're absolutely right on that. The separate Magna and Pacto PDFs they publish are a godsend, especially the revised Pacto rules. Okay. I'm going to tell this guy, because I just learned it last night. Magna and Maximus PDF is lacking. There we go. Let's try to have a spell check. Okay. Okay, nice to see you back. Thank you, user. By the way, Sir Reynard and Sir Juna's volumes are really low. It's a little annoying to listen to with the difference between the other two players and the GM. Maybe you could do a volume check before recording. Don't forget the INI is very important to improve, and only combat experiences allows you. Okay, thank you for explaining the rules to me. Okay, if this is true, I'm going to have to find that rule. Initiative? No weapon ML can be more than 10 points above initiative? Okay, I'm going to double check that. I'm just going to hit a... checking. Okay. Okay, I do not have time now to deep analysis of Harn Mastit. I know what he means. However, I do not want to listen to these videos while relaxing. I do want to listen. In order to prevent myself from losing hours of time on it, I forbid me to take any notes from the videos. Okay. You can do it. You can take notes. And then this guy just blah, 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 blah. Is there a way to... remove? Okay. Richard says, really nice work. I wish I had the imagination to come up with solutions like this. Thank you. You do. You probably got the imagination. Okay, the Meg designer was the author of Field of Glory, Simon Miller. His name is not Miller. It's Simon Pegg. No, it's not. It's Simon Hall. He is steeped in the old DBM world. I know him well. He took his ideas that he learned with the Field of Glory and applied it to Meg. He also heavily influenced the Simon Clark of Lucio games. Okay, just a second. I'm closing chat and I'm opening... Okay, wow. How do I get rid of this? Okay, you can go right there. Ancients. Ancients, there you are. Field of Glory. There you are. I know, it's just a screenshot. Okay. Boop. Really? There's no credits. I'm going to have to go grab my Field of Glory book. You would think it would be right here under introduction. Or design philosophy. Do you see anybody's name anywhere? Because you would think if it was a Simon Hall, it would say Simon Hall, or if it was Simon Miller, it would say Simon Miller, Field of Glory by Yeah, Angus has got a lot of credits. And that looks very familiar. The drilled, undrilled skirmishers. That's almost exactly the same. But this book wasn't written in a way that was easily understood, and Meg is easy to understand. It's pretty much the same game. I already know that. And one army could be used in another game. You just have to look at your trying to look for some credits that, yeah, and that's where I got the idea to make the movement sticks. You know, you got these sticks with the movement lengths on them. One thing I like about Meg is the dice. You don't really have very many modifiers. You just read the die and that's what happens. I really like that. I like the fact that you vary what the die is, so it almost makes it hard to mess it up. Pre-battle system as well. Sorry I'm taking all this time just for this comment, but I wanted to see it for myself. Okay, hold on. Publishing, bunch of Osprey books, Slytherin, the Index, the charts. Must have messed that one up when I scanned that. Okay, hold on. Okay, somewhere in here it might say who wrote these. Wow, I didn't give him any credit anywhere. That's messed up. Okay. I didn't know he was the author of Field of Glory. And his name is not Simon Miller, but if you're his friend, you know that. Okay. By the way, love your channel. Have a good time with it. Thank you. Hey, Kraus, you're probably on the stream. Well, you have been. You were earlier. You might have left once I started reading comments. I didn't realize that was coming from you. Okay, but either way. Valor and Ford is a fast play black powder, very, very similar, almost an infringement. Yeah, Yeah, Valor and Fortitude just reminds me of Black Powder, but it does have a slightly different morale system, but not enough. It slows the game down, I think. Okay, there should be intercept attack when enemies has moved out. Um, Brami, Bramillion, Bramillion. Okay, there is. You can do like an Overwatch attack on a moving unit, but you have to have uh, action points remaining, and you have to have moved only one hex. That's right. You have to have only moved one hex in the previous turn. If you moved any further than that, then you don't get any Overwatch. Okay, should be interesting in your half. Okay, we talked about all of this was in today's video. Okay, so I can close that. And I can go back to shrinking that down. Okay, so we successfully have gone through all the comments from the previous month. Okay. My Romans. Okay. Let's get back to painting. Actually, what time is it? Okay. Give me 30 minutes. Or let's just do the jackets real quick with this cork. And then we'll call it for the afternoon. Okay. This should be enough time to dry on that field gray. Okay. There is a slight difference, but not enough to warrant going over all the models. So I'm not going to do it. Go ahead and put this back. Yeah, the difference isn't enough to worry about. Now I've got a makeup bottle mixer. I bought it to mix up my, to attach these bottles to the makeup mixer, and it goes and it mixes it up, and you can just set it there for a moment or two, and then, but it's super loud. I mean, 2 houses down would hear it. It's like the sound of the jigsaw or something. It's super loud. So I'm disappointed with it. I mean, it works. It shakes up the bottles. It's just super loud. Okay, let's move all these over. And almost 100% of these, almost maybe 99% of these, are all getting a cork jacket. And they should be able to be pretty fast, because I'm pretty much just painting over all their gear and everything. The only thing I need to worry about is the bottom of the jacket, just not painting onto the pants. And the very top of the jacket, just not painting onto the head, the back of the neck or whatever. Okay, so let's talk about I wanted to talk about marshals and generals, and I also wanted to talk about my Roman army. So, my Marian Romans. I have 10 legions on popsicle sticks and primed. And their shields are painted white, ready for decals. I still need to do about 5 more yeah, I still need to do about 5 more to be complete, to have my army ready to go. But I do have I do have 10 of them. And I also have like more than 5 more worth of miniatures. I just need to get them out and base them. Put them on sticks and prime them. But I'm not in a hurry to do those. Those last 5 I can do in a future date. But I have the figures. And over the last couple of days, I cleaned and primed my Numidian cab, which I showed you earlier. They're on the popsicle sticks. Now those are Cromartie Numidians because I think they look really good. And the Cromartie Numidians, their shields are flat. So I'm going to be able to put my Numidian shield decals on them when I get around to doing them. And I did 2 Gaelic warrior battle groups. They're ready to go. Now everything I'm talking about is just on sticks and primed, not actually painted. 2 Gaelic warrior battle groups. I did a Spanish Scutari battle group. I did 4 bolt throwers. I have my Roman cavalry. So there's I think that's it. Oh, skirmishers. Oh yeah, I've got a battle group of slingers, a battle group of archers. Now I don't have any javelin men, but I was planning on using javelin men from one of my other armies. Or, probably the mid-Republicans. Or the Macedonians. Because they have a number of javelins as well. Yeah, so archers, the slingers are also Cromarty. And I want to point out that the Cromarty models are very well detailed. Um, they're well worth the money and the wait to get them. Because it took them about a month before I was able to get them. But the poses, like just the slingers. I got 12 slingers, and every one of them has a different pose. Yeah, I'm very impressed with the Cromarty. The Numidian cavalry, they've got maybe 4 poses. But that's still good. And the archers and the Gaul warriors, those are Old Glory. And I noticed that my Gaul warriors, I got 2 packages because I thought I needed 2 battle groups, but which I do. But that one package was able to do both battle groups because I think it comes with 50 models, and I only need 42 because there's 21 per battle group. So I had a handful of leftover models plus a second bag. Right there. There's my second bag of Gaul warriors. This is going to go on eBay tonight, actually. I was able to take some photos of the bag before we started the video. Before we started the stream, I should say. So it's going to go up on there. Plus I got some apple trees that are going up. And I've got some 40 millimeter bases. Great for Hail Caesar and black powder. And also mag. There are some units that go on 40s, like elephants and bolt throwers. Commanders. doing the backs are very easy. The fronts are a little bit more complicated. And I don't care if I get paint on the rifle or their hands, because I haven't painted those yet. So I can be a little less judicious. I can be sloppy. I just don't want to get it on their pants or on their face. So yeah, I've got a ton of my Romans in the chamber, ready to be fired up. One more thing, I've got the new Hail Caesar book coming in. Caesar's Wars in Gaul, or Caesar's Gaelic Wars, I think might be what it's called. Yeah, I got a couple of those coming in. I'm going to keep one for myself. It's supposed to have 44 scenarios in it and army lists. In the first scenario of the Caesar's campaign book, there is a battle, but there's a a Roman marching fort on the table, and I don't have a Roman marching fort. I built one for 28 millimeter, and we actually played that game at the local game store, and that was fun making that. But again, it was way too big because it was 28 millimeter, and it took up a lot of space. Which, if I only did Ancients and I didn't have all these World War II and Napoleonic figures, if I only did Ancients, then doing 28 millimeter would be perfectly fine. But I have such a wide variety of interests that 28 millimeter is just too big for me trying to collect all these different armies. That's one of the reasons why I went to 15s. Not the only reason, but it is one of the main reasons. But so I was thinking of building a marching fort in 15 millimeter. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, well, I'm only going to make it for this one scenario from a Hail Caesar book. I don't know if it's worth the effort or the space or the, materials or whatever to do it just for one scenario. And that's in Meg, that's what your camp is supposed to represent. Right? It's supposed to represent your marching fort. So what I was thinking about doing when I was making my camps was to making it a fortified camp. So it would look like a marching fort. Now, what I think I'm going to do is take two camps side by side and make a square, right? It'll be close to a square. It'll be 3 by 4 once you do that. So it'll be close to square. Because the camp bases are 2 by 3. And then fortifying it on around half of it, so that when you put them side by side, the fortification goes all the way around. And just calling that the marching fort. And then if I don't use the marching fort, I just want a fortified camp, I can just use one of them. Right? So it's not like a wasted effort, because the camp that I made right now for the Romans is not fortified. It's just a regular old camp. Or, there's another thing, I could build walls that go around the camp, turning it into a fortified camp. And it would really just be for looks. And then when the enemy approaches the camp, they actually have to contact the camp base and not the fortifications. I would just slide them out of the way. Yeah, I was hoping to get these done by today. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. I might get the camouflage done today. I'm only on my third stick. Oh my gosh. Thought I was well beyond that. I almost got bent out of shape just now. I looked at the model and I said, oh, his hands aren't even done. Well, that was the plan. I'm going to do the hands after I do the rifle. Get your act together, Derek. Remember what you're doing. Yeah, most of these guys have a lot of gear on their back and they're not really going to see much camouflage on them. It's the sleeves that are exposed, you know. But like this guy's got an entrenching tool. He's got backpack, not a backpack, but like a bedroll or whatever it is on his back. And then he's got his canteen, his mess kit. He's got his little haversack. His gas mask case. But I'm painting it all cork because, and I'm going to camouflage the whole thing. And then when I go in and paint the individual items, it'll just cover up that part of the camouflage. And that way it'll look like the camouflage is consistent. If I try to just only apply camouflage around these items, it'll look like somebody went in and camouflaged around the items. Okay, wait a second. What is that? Piece of metal that I didn't properly clean off. But that's okay. It's taken care of now. So my two of my 10 legions are forged in battle, and the rest are all Old Glory. And almost, well, all of my decals are Old Glory decals. So I ordered one Forged in Battle decal set because I had already applied a decal set to my Forged in Battle. I trimmed them down so that they would fit on my Forged in Battle models. And they look good, but I was needing to order another decal sheet anyway, so that I could cover the full 15 legions that I want. And the reason why I want 15 is because you can have 56 legions, okay, bases. You can have 56 bases of legions and 4 bases of the 10th legion. So a total of 60 bases. And the legions are all 4-base legions. So 60 divided by 4 is 15. Basically, it'd be 14 regular legions and then 1 10th legion. But technically, it's just 15 legions. Because the 10th legion looks exactly like all the other legions. It's just has different characteristics. I did a little research on the 10th Legion to try to figure out which decal sheet I wanted to use for my 10th Legion. And I pretty much found out that it's red with the golden wings. And so one of my Forged in Battle Legions is red with the golden wings. If the Forged in Battle decal sheet comes in next week, and it's also red with gold wings, because I think it is, it'll just be the second half of the 10th Legion. Because remember, all these legions in Magna are basically just half legions for Maximus. Okay, it sounds like the mail is running. I was getting ready to go out there and check it. I don't have anything to ship today, so I don't have anything in the mailbox. Because a lot of times what I'll do is I'll put something in the mailbox, put the flag up, and then from the driveway I can look down at my mailbox and I can see if the flag is up or down. That's almost every day. But today I don't have anything going out, so the flag is already down. So I would have to walk down there to check it. So I was giving it a little extra time. To go check it, so I wouldn't have to make 2 trips. But I just heard the mail go by. So I'm waiting for it to come back this way. Because the way our mail woman does her deliveries, she drives up the road, and when she reaches the end, she turns around and comes back down the road. So I think I heard her going up the road. My sale that I've got going on. Speaking of packages, I have a sale on 28 millimeter models and everything related to 28 millimeter on my store. The next sale starts on the 9th. And that's going to go on until right after Christmas. So that's going to be our Christmas sale, or Black Friday, or Black November, or whatever you want to call it. But it's basically going to be till the end of the year, so it's going to be my last sale this year. It starts on the 9th. And I'm leaning towards, I don't know this for sure, but I'm leaning towards a flat 10% off, but on specific brands. I'm getting in, just a little heads up, I'm getting in a very large order of Rubicon models. Tuesday? Yeah, I think it's Tuesday. I think it's already shipped. I think it's on the way. I'm getting in some Warlord, but guess what? Not a whole lot. I ordered a bunch of Tufts, those books, and some Bolt Action, I think. I don't remember. Oh, wait, I think I did order the new Belgian Cavalry, I think, for Black Powder, I think. I don't remember, but it's a few items. I also ordered V&V. V&V is coming in as a test run, a trial, I'm trying to see how long it takes to ship, what the quality of the models are, before I establish a retail account with them. So that order is going to be coming in at some point. Wargames Atlantic. I've gone through so many reps with Wargames Atlantic, I have lost my mind. I don't know who my rep is. I keep getting emails saying, I've taken over your account. I've taken over your account. The other guy is no longer your rep or whatever. I don't know if that means he moved markets or maybe he quit or got fired or whatever, but this has happened a number of times. And my last order form for Wargames says May on it. I think it says May. So instead of, and I know they've had a bunch of new releases since then, so I sent an email saying, hey, can I get a new order form? And I sent it to my most recent rep that I think is my rep. It was a couple of days, didn't get a response. So now I resent it, but this time I also sent it to their sales email. It's probably like the manager's email. We'll see. We'll see what I get. I don't know if you remember, but I put an order in back in May for the World War II bundle. It was like a it was a good deal. I got all these models plus a couple of free boxes. But after a month and a half, I never received it. They never shipped it. And my rep kept telling me that they were waiting for a specific box to come in before they shipped it. And I just kept waiting and waiting and waiting. And then I got a guy saying, "Oh, I'm your new rep." And then I informed him what was going on. And he said, "I don't know why that guy said that, because we've had those boxes in forever. But now we're missing these." So it was like the ones he said they were waiting on, they've had, but there was other ones that, because it never shipped, they got sold. You would have thought that they would have pulled part of my order, the part that was in stock, since it was all already paid for and everything. You would think they would have pulled whatever was in stock and then just waited for those couple of boxes that were out of stock. And then when those came in, just put them in the box and shipped it. But apparently, nothing was pulled and boxed. A lot of the boxes that I was supposed to receive was sold, over time to other customers. And then when it came time for them to ship my order, there were missing boxes. So my new rep, I think his name is Tom, he said, "You know what, let's just ship this and I'll credit you for any boxes that we're out of." Which I would have expected my first rep to do something like that. So I was like, "Yeah, do that. Just ship it and credit me." Yeah, I got those in. Finally, everything's in. But I noticed they had a few new releases and I wanted to take advantage of these. So I went looking to see what order form I had, and it was like April or something. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is from that order from a million years ago. I need a new order form." Because they don't send an order form out every month like some other companies that I do business with. Also, speaking of which, I have a Victrix order coming in. Yeah, Victrix. I also have Plastic Soldier. The Plastic Soldier is still pending. The way Plastic Soldier and Victrix works is you place the order using, well, actually, Warlord does the same thing, now that I think about it. You place the order, or let me rephrase, you have a spreadsheet, you fill your order out on the spreadsheet, and then they send you an invoice to pay. It's not done on their website. Now, Victrix, you place the order on the website, but you don't pay on the website. They build the invoice, and then they send you the bill that you pay. Everybody does it a little bit different, so it's hard to keep track of how they do it. I think what I need to do is make a make a document that says, Warlord, this is how you place an order. Victrix, this is how you place an order. Plastic Soldier, this is how you place an order. Okay, the mail is coming back. I hear it coming this way. She's probably at my neighbor's house. She might be here now. I'm not expecting anything via mail. Actually, that might not be true. But I am expecting quite a bit through UPS. So they might have already dropped stuff off on my front porch. You know, it might be out there waiting. Now, just so you know, I do not get any discount with Little Big Men decals or Litco. I think Litco wants to do their own business, so they make it hard. But I am going to put some Litco bases for sale, but that's because I ordered way too many. So I'm basically just going to try to recoup some of my cost. That's all that is. I ordered 100 and all I needed was 20. You know, that kind of stuff. So instead of just sitting on 100 bases, or 80 bases, or whatever was left, I'm going to sell them. I'm not selling all of them. I actually, the 40 millimeter bases that I am selling, I had like 300 of them. Literally. And I only used like maybe 100. I still have like 200 bases. So I was thinking I'd put like 150, maybe a little less. But I'll put some bases up. I'll keep some in my back pocket just for future emergencies. But I am going to sell the majority of them. All right, guys. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to put you guys on hold. I'm going to go run outside, check the mail, check the porch, and I'll be right back. So just give me a minute, all right? Oh my gosh. That was good. All right. There it is. Okay, yep, there it is. Give me a second. No boxes. Did get some junk mail though. Alright guys, because it's a little bit after 2 o'clock, I am going to stop the video here, unfortunately guys. I am going to continue painting these for the rest of the day. I've got a D&D game that I participate in at 5:30. So I'm going to finish painting these with cork after I eat some lunch. So that's basically why I want to break the video up. I'm going to eat some lunch. Now, again, maybe tonight after the game, I will film a video for the store. It's, a store news update. And what I'll try to do, well, I put it on my to-do list, but I'll dig out my D&D figures. And okay, I'm looking at my live stream and it's like way behind. Okay, should be live now. I wonder, did I pause it? I don't think I paused it, but okay. I'm going to, what am I saying? I'm going to pull those D&D figures out and I'll show them off because I think Kraus was interested in maybe picking them up. But I do plan to paint them and put them up on the store. But if you want to get him now, because he likes to paint his own figures, so and he might be interested in some of these old classics because they're old. I've got some old D&D models. Okay, so but that's going to be later tonight, so you probably won't see that video go live until early tomorrow morning, or maybe even Sunday night at midnight. It just depends on when I record it and how I upload it and edit it and all that. All right, guys, I will catch you in the next video, whatever that might be. So let's go ahead and... Didn't get an opportunity to talk about my marshals and generals, but we'll talk about that at some point.